Hey guys, and welcome back to the Questionable Scale Modeling channel. It's been a while, been off and on for a while, and here is the finished Martini 936 Porsche and the Elf Renault A442B. These are the 1978 Le Mans cars. The Renault was number one, and the Porsche was the second place car. That's kind of why I did them at the same time. But had a really busy summer. The last completion that I actually had was back in May, so I was very unproductive and got sidetracked many times with work and other things. So let's take a look at them. I'm not going to spend too much time because I've already done a Facebook post, so you've probably already seen better pictures of these. The only thing to really note that I did differently on these builds was I took on the driver figure, it had molded in seatbelt harness stuff. So I actually sanded all that off and added my own belts to it. Don't know if you can really see it very well in the picture. So I can adjust my light. And it's not perfect, but it looks better than molded in detail for sure. My steering wheel does not line up like I wanted it to. And one mistake that I made, and I don't know if you'll see it. Well, you can't see it. But on both cars, somehow I managed to do my gauge detail upside down. But these cars are far from perfect, so they will not ever be seen at a show, and they will live in my display case for, well, maybe a year or two. Another problem that I had with the Indy decals, I do not like them. But with these two cars, I had no choice but to use Indy decals because they're the only ones that make these decals. So the problem I had is after my clear coat was sanded and cut and all that good stuff, polished, I had to mask out. Let me get my pointer. I had to mask off for these two, what are, I'm assuming, kind of intakes of some sort. And I had to mask those off so I could paint them. And when I was lifting my paint back off, this whole decal, this stripe, started to lift with the clear coat, which tells me that even after several weeks of, uh, after applying the decal, there is still zero adhesion between the body and the decal in the body, and that is not good. That means they're just, I think they're junk, to be honest. The only way I would ever recommend using them is if you had no choice. Period. That's my personal opinion. Uh, Underneath side, pretty basic. I did not go into a lot of trouble detailing anything because, frankly, nobody's going to see it. There's the back side, pretty basic. So the Renault, same thing. You can't even really see anything in there because of this window, which is actually hinged, but it snaps in place, so it's not going to open. But same thing with it. I added my own harness to it, did some light detail painting, and on this one, I didn't even paint anything underneath as far as the engine because I was long over the build. I just wanted to get them done and off the shelf so I could move on. So again, you've probably already seen my Facebook post, so you've already seen better pictures. So that is that. That's those. Now we're going to move on. Next build. I'm going to switch cameras and we will go through what's going to be quite a complex build. So I'll be right back. Okay, so here is my next project, and it's going to be a big one. So we have an Aoshima Lamborghini Murcielago from the 2010 Spa. It's going to have lots of decals, and I've heard all kinds of really bad things about these Aoshima Lamborghinis. So we're going to tackle it and see what can happen. So I've already opened the box. It's actually empty right now. So I kind of went through the sprues a little bit. If you're familiar with Aoshima kits, they typically will give you stuff that you don't need. So I went ahead and went through and made sure that all the pieces that I need were in there. So let's see. This is not really an unboxing, but I just kind of want to show you what all's in here. There is a lot of parts. So here's some engine stuff. Interior with roll cage. Parts. Like I said, there's a ton of parts. Here's some body parts. It does have a full engine, but it's not all one piece. That's the bottom part of the engine. So it's not, I don't know, it's kind of a weird way to do it. There's no, well, how do I put that? So there's a body, there's a molded in bottom half, but the top is actually the full engine. So it's kind of weird how it's done. Some vents, body parts. That's the engine cover, which will hide pretty much all the engine detail, but it is on a hinge. More body parts. More body parts. I've highlighted in silver all the pieces that I will need. And there's actually a few pieces I won't need. There's the rear diffuser. And that's some kind of, I don't know, some kind of scaffolding or something for the back of the car. And it looks like this piece has got just a little break to it, so I'll have to glue that. Chassis plate. And it actually gives you a thing to put here to where if you want to attach it to a base, you can screw it in. So that's kind of cool, although I won't do it. Rear wing. Chassis parts. And these little pieces here are the trumpets for the throttle bodies. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but I may hollow them out just to make it look a little better, but we'll see. Wheels, tires and polycaps, exhaust headers, springs, wiper blade, chrome parts. So this is supposed to have 2 chrome exhaust tips, and for some reason there's only one, so it fell off the tree before they packaged it. So I will have to make a second one, and looking at the diameter, I might be able to cut apart a ballpoint pen and make a second one out of that. I just got to get my micrometer out and get the dimensions. Then we have interior parts, and more body parts. Racing seat. I thought I did not have these, but they were in the box. They're the prop rods for the doors and the trunk, or hood, if you want to call it that. Clear parts, which are going to stay in here for now. More clear parts. Window masks, and a nice sheet of mesh. And decal sheet. It's actually not too much on the decals, but we're going to do something even better. We're going to add some carbon fiber detail courtesy of Studio 27. So that will be fun because I like carbon fiber. I'm not really going to do, I'm not going to focus on any modifications. There are some mesh grills that are molded in plastic that could be converted into actual mesh that where you can see through it like the real thing. But since they don't lead anywhere except empty space, I don't see the advantage of doing it that way. So I'm just going to detail paint the mesh, the molded in plastic mesh, and leave it at that because I do not want anything really holding me up. My goal for this build is 3 to 4 weeks. And if I keep myself motivated, shouldn't be any problem because as many parts as it has, it's not that bad. There's very little variation in colors, and the body's going to be black and white. That'll be easy. The decals, the actual racing decals are going to be simple. There's really no bad complex curves I'm going to make. So we'll see. Another thing to note about this kit is, and I don't know if it's all Lamborghinis, but on the instructions where it tells you what part number you're looking for, it doesn't tell you which parts tree the part is on. So that's a bit of a pain because it'll tell you you need part number 186, but it doesn't tell you which tree it's on. So that could be done better. Anyway, that is my next project. So I'm going to spend the rest of what's left of the weekend getting the body parts in order and doing some test fitting because the doors I hear have issues. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching.